makes three.
Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
hello.
Thank you so much for being a part of Marriage Makes Three.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes. So, just to introduce you to the couple behind the course, it's us, Pastor G and myself. I'm Pastor Michelle Mostella. This is my sweet husband, Pastor Gregory Dale Mostella. And together we are Marriage Makes Three. Of course, we have the Lord that has to be a part because it's my
Absolutely.
Lord, my lover,
And
and
me.
me. Want to welcome you to the course. I want you to know that you're going to have to spend some time doing the work. The only way that you're going to get out of this, what you really need to get,
That's
is for
true.
you to sit down. Some of it is individual work, some of it is
Absolutely.
for the both of you together. But we want you to know that we're concerned about your relationship. And we want that when you go forward, that you can say,
That's
I've
right.
done everything that I could in order to ensure long life and happiness in our relationship.
And with this in mind, have no doubt that you will have a very successful and long, loving relationship.
Yes,
Something that your children, your grandchildren, can be proud of, as
definitely.
well as they can emulate you. One of the principles that we try to emulate as we instruct and as we counsel, that is by showing our example. And so we want you to always have us as an example of
Yes.
how it should be. We want to be a good example, not a horrible example. We
Amen.
want you to do
Amen.
everything
Amen.
in your life
Absolutely.
to
And
be a principle in your life.
And
amen.
one of the things that we have
So
found
we
that
are off
has
in
been
here like
instrumental
swimwear.
in
Hey,
our
everybody.
relationship
Thank
is
you so
learning
much
how
for
to
Good
joining
communicate
us.
evening.
with one
How
another.
you all doing? How you doing?
Hello, folks. Come on in. Come on in. Wow, it's
It
Wednesday
is.
already.
It's hump day.
It's hump
Hump,
day.
hump day.
Been a very rainy hump day,
It,
but
it has
stormy.
been.
But thank God we're here.
And it's
Thank God
warm.
you're here. You all come on in. Share, share,
Here for the
share.
warm. Y'all know I
Tell
love
somebody.
for it to be warm, right? Hey, Sister Shirley, we are
Shirley.
doing well, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming in, and we appreciate all of you, our God's children, our Father's children. That was so churchy. Y'all, was that churchy? Was that churchy or what? Oh my God, that is so funny. Well, listen, everybody, we ask that y'all go ahead and come in and let us talk tonight. We started last night. We have been dealing with this thing called Father's Faults and Sons' Souls. We found out last night that there are some things that we have to deal with in order for our families that have been broken, for our families that are dealing with issues, so that we'll be able to get this thing together. Is it always able to come together? Not always, right? But we have to do the very best we can. We have to try the best that we can try. We have to do it, what I say, we have to pray like it's all up to God, and we have to work like it's all up to us. So we've been talking about this, and the impetus of this was Kirk Franklin. Many of you know that I finally started Tava today.
I'm hungry.
Oh, Lord, I forgot what I was going to say. Listen,
Kirk Franklin.
Kirk Franklin, yes. So Kirk Franklin and his son, Carry On, we found out that there has been some contention going on with him and his dad. And so we wanted you all to know and understand that this isn't anything new, that fathers and sons have been going through things all the way since before Christ, right? And we're going to continue to do those things, but we have to learn some skills, some tools. And that's why we're here tonight. We want to encourage you that even though you're dealing with brokenness, even though you are in a place where you want to be reconciled, you've got to know that sometimes there's things that you can do to make that process become a little bit easier. Now, we also don't want you to feel condemned, because sometimes, y'all, it just doesn't work out.
Personalities,
Exactly.
choices.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we have to remember that we all have choices.
That's
no
right.
matter how much you want a relationship to work, the other person
Also,
does have a choice.
Has something to do
and
with
if they're
it.
not willing to meet you on some of your terms, then
Yeah.
that's not at all helpful.
That's right.
They want everything their
Their
way.
way. No.
And especially when they're grown. So
That's not how any of
Mhm.
this works. None of it works that way. So we're gonna go ahead and I don't know, do we even tell the people who we are? Well, they may have heard us on what you
yes.
all were seeing there prior to us coming on here live. Was you were seeing our, let's see, where we have our premarital 6-week marriage mastery course.
Mhm.
And you will find that right there at bit.ly/MM3LINKS. All the information, all of the modules, all of those things. Some people are not able to go into the place where they are, what am I trying to say? Some people are not able to come in on one-on-one, or well, in our case, 2-on-2 counseling. And so what we did is we made it available for you all, so that indeed, if you have to have premarital counseling, or you desire it, but you cannot go in for a one-on-one, you can go ahead and get the modules. You take that 6-week course, and then after that, you will be able to get your certificate. Yes, isn't it exciting? It takes two, baby. It takes two, baby. Me and you.
So we
takes two.
started marriage mastery long before Corona decided to take off. But I think with the advent of Corona, this is another opportunity for some of you. There are people who are already not super comfortable with going to their priest or their parish or their pastor, or whoever happens to be in their neck of the woods.
True that.
Right? They, for whatever reason, they were not comfortable with that. A family member, maybe they were her family member or his family member. But this is a unique opportunity for you to connect with us. And I believe that what we have to offer would be a great help to some of you.
Yes.
And many of you know that your marriage courses, you may pay $1,600 for 4 sessions or 3 or 2 sessions. Absolutely. And so this is an absolutely great price. And we are confident that you will have the tools that you need to get your marriage off to a stellar start,
absolutely,
a superstar.
Yes.
And what we want you to know is that we're not just with you for those 6 weeks, but we'll be available to you
for mentorship. Yes, because we need marriage mentorship.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody once a month.
We make fewer mistakes.
Yes, when we've got somebody in our corner.
Somebody who is really in our corner. And a lot of celebrities, I think that's part of the issue, is that they get so big, too big for their pastors, too big for their churches.
Nobody can tell them
really
that.
Going anywhere. And I'm not saying that's the case with all, but you need some guidance. You need some spiritual guidance.
Amen. In your relationship. Oh my God.
Steve Harvey, regardless of who you are. And some folks want a celebrity, but if people are using you for their book material and their come up, they're able to charge you celebrity rates. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but are you getting what you need?
Exactly.
Is somebody really going to be okay with getting in your face if you make a dumb mistake?
That would be me. I'm okay with it.
No, we're not. I'm not saying you want to pay somebody to disrespect you, but sometimes you need somebody who is not scared of you, that's not on your payroll, to tell you like your TI is. That's all.
That's me. I don't have a problem with it, okay? Because I'll tell it. I'm going to ask the questions.
Andre Thomas.
Look you in your eyeballs. And I'm going to ask you, does that make sense to you, what you just did right there? Did that sound right, what you just said? Is Robert what you're doing right now, is that conducive to the outcome that you're looking for?
Come on.
Do you want some cookies morning, noon, and night, but you're out in the evening, then you ain't gonna get cookies morning, noon, and night. You know why? Because now I got questions about where you been, Penny. What you been doing, right? So this is what we're saying.
No lips. There used to be an expression from some people, teetotalers, you know, people who didn't care for no wine, no lips that have ever touched wine shall ever touch mine. Wine is not a problem. I promise.
Okay.
Some people, you'll never touch me. I don't know where them lips are.
No, okay.
So if you're
I
having
heard
those
something the
kinds
other
of
day,
issues,
y'all.
you really need to connect with us.
It wasn't cute. She said, you done let him put his lips on you after I know where his lips been on me.
Lord.
Okay, so listen, everybody get their own and we don't have to worry about nobody's lips, okay? So come on in the room. If you have not yet, thank you, Ja, for sharing. Appreciate you so very much. Thank all of you for coming and being a part. I'm Pastor Michelle. This is my sweet husband, Pastor G.
Robert White
We
is
are-
Andre Thomas is here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
We
friend.
are spiritual relationship counselors. We are veterans of the United States Air Force and your go-to couple for all things relationship. All right, we're in here tonight. We are on part number 2. We started last night talking about fathers' faults and sons' souls, that we have to begin to do some work. And we said that we would come in tonight and we would give you about 4 things that every father and son every son needs from their father.
Absolutely.
We have to know that there is a part of a man, a part of a boy, and girls as well. They come from 2 parents. They love them both. Even when a parent has not been there, even when a parent did not do what they were supposed to do, even when a parent isn't who they needed to be for that child, do you realize that there's a part of that person that is still dealing with and making the same mistakes, still going through the same motions as they did with their parent? And sometimes what ends up happening is they marry somebody, blink, blink, just like they daddy. Or they'll marry somebody just like their mama because they are familiar with that thing. And we are drawn to the familiar, even when the familiar is dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are people who would tell you, I will never marry somebody like my mama. I'll never marry somebody like my daddy. And something about the person.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes you don't have a lot of choice.
True.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
to have all of the information.
Yes, ma'am,
But
sir.
you may still get some of those qualities because we are made that way.
That's right. Okay. So again, for fathers' faults and sons' souls, if you have not shared this, go ahead and share it. Invite somebody. Let the people know that we're off in here. We want to talk tonight. Number 1, if you all would put that in, number 1, if you all are following on Periscope.
Perry people.
I know we're your Perry pastors. I know it. I get it. I understand. I know y'all love this on there, but guess what? Perry is going bye-bye. The end of this month, Perry is going to be no more. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us over here on Facebook, okay? And that way you will be able to get this great information, this valuable teaching. Am I saying that? Am I boasting? No, I'm not. I'm just saying that it's the truth. And if you can back it up, it ain't bragging.
If the shoe fits,
wear it, okay? So what I want to say is, last night we talked about, who did we talk about? Absalom and King David.
That's right.
And how the 2 of them had a love-hate almost relationship, and how that thing ended up, okay? And David, though he loved his son, he realized that his son was becoming detrimental to who he was, okay? And so now we find out that not only do we deal with these things now, but we're also been dealing with these things years and years ago, people centuries from ago, still dealing with it, okay? And listen, I used to say, you know, when I was coming up, when I was a young adult, I would say stuff like, what is wrong with these children? These parents, they just ain't doing right. Somebody missing something somewhere. And then I come to find out as an adult, an older adult,
not always.
Okay, sometimes that parent may have done all that they were supposed to, been all that they were supposed to be. And you know what? There's that one knuckleheaded child that wants to do things the exact opposite of what they've been taught, what they've had imparted into them. Put it on the sachet down to MM31, right? Right? They did exactly the opposite of everything the parents have ever asked them to do, all right? Or have taught them to do, or has shown them an example of being.
And some of you all don't believe fat meat is greasy. The Bible says that foolishness is bound in the heart of the child.
Yes.
But the rod of correction
correction
will drive it far from him.
Yes.
Now, there are people who don't believe.
It's true.
Well, I got whippings and I'll never do that to my child. I don't believe that's necessary. What made you so smart? Are you smarter than God? Do you have more wisdom? Have your degrees? Now, there's nothing wrong with degrees, nothing wrong with education.
Right.
But are you smarter than God? How's that working out?
Okay.
Really? How's that working out?
Yeah.
Do you have less headaches?
Yeah.
Because you believe that you should not whip them, but you should talk to them? Do you go to the jail less? Do you pay less bail money?
Okay.
Do you call less bail bondsmen because you don't believe in whipping? You better start doing what God said do.
Okay. And now listen.
Every child is different, right?
Yeah, every child doesn't need a whooping. All right. Some children, they put themselves in a corner. And that is going to be enough for them. Some children, you just got to look at them hard.
That's right.
And they are repentant. They're going to do right for the next 2 weeks. You ain't going to have no questions, no problems.
You already know that one good for 2 weeks.
Okay.
We all right. I don't have to fuss no more for,
Okay. I had one child that if you just said, I am so disappointed. Right. I had another child. I had to wear a belt around my neck.
Wow.
And walk around with it because he needed to know that I was ready at the drop of a hat to whoop his tail. Okay? So just know that you have to treat children the way differently. I'm not talking about abuse because I know some of y'all, they want to beat the children. No, I'm not talking about abuse.
You don't beat them if they don't need it.
Exactly.
But there's some that you have to make a believer out of them.
Come on. All right.
And if you know they're going to run you, they're not going to run to jail because they don't let them do that.
They don't let them do it.
They're not going to run the police department or the courthouse because the judge don't take that.
They don't play that.
But, but somehow we feel like we have and I'm not going to take that right away from you as a parent. I can't do that. But I'm just suggesting that sometimes you need to beat them. and the words that beat them, be times. Be times.
Be times means minty.
Yep.
Minty times.
As oft as
there are
necessary.
infractions. Yes. If there is an infraction after you have spoken to them once and twice, then that third time, you know what it is.
It's the butt. All the people gonna say, "What's up?" What's up? I'm sorry.
I am not playing with you today, sir. All right. So here we are. Let me see. Should we talk about Eli and them first, or should we talk about go on and do these four?
Yeah, let's do.
All right. Let me see that number one, y'all. There in the chat. Number one. My mom, Jawaru, says, my mom says she didn't beat my Peach that often. She says she talked first and that was a last resort. Yep. Whatever, old lady.
And that helps you sleep at night and simmer them lies of lies. Now that means that she could have did it more often. So
I cannot with you.
Don't make her pull out her belt. Yeah.
Okay, I cannot.
Her extension cord.
Listen.
A wooden spoon.
There's anything within reach was apt to become the instrument of discipline.
Switch.
Didn't matter, right? So Board of Education always won. I don't care who was fighting up against it. So number one thing that we have to ask ourselves, and do we know, in order for our husbands, excuse me, because all dads are not husbands, for fathers for their sons, number one thing that they need, does my son know that they matter to me?
Wow.
Okay. Your son needs to know that they matter to you. All right. We've gotten to the place where there are fathers that act as though that child means nothing.
Yeah.
That is just another one, and they trying to pin another child. Y'all have seen Maury. Okay. And what are you seeing? You're seeing pain, you're seeing hurt, you're seeing discardation. And when people feel as though that
what was that word?
Discardation.
Discardation. It's like being discarded. Okay, you're throwing me out. I
you're
don't
throwing
matter.
me away.
I don't matter.
Yeah, I'm abandoned. You act as though I don't matter. And when it comes to, and let me say this, when a couple has children, and let's say they end up divorcing, okay, and that father has that son, and then that father ends up getting someone else in their life, right? Now, before that person came into their life, they were, oh, my son, my son, my son, my son this, my son that, my son the other, right? Or my daughter,
daddy.
Oggy doggy, oggy daddy. My son, right? But then when that other female, that other woman, the next wife, the new stepmother, or whomever comes into the picture, you cannot drop that son. You cannot now say, because the problem is, in the beginning was you begin to treat them like your buddy and not your child.
Yeah.
Okay. You cannot be buddy with your son, your daughter, when they're growing up. You can be friends, but there's a place, hey Danielle, where you have to have a clear line of demarcation that you are the child and I am the parent, period. Okay, because when this other person comes into the life, now that child feels like they don't matter. And a son always needs to know that they matter when it comes to their own fathers. Okay, as anybody have seen this go on in you don't have to say it was in your life, but you understand what we're saying. If you've ever seen this phenomena, let me see. She said, period. Okay, I guess that's. There we go.
And so what happens there's some missed opportunities.
Yes.
And what happens a lot of times, if you are the father and you're going through a divorce, and you particularly if you don't have anybody that you can run to, very often people are confiding more in their son or in their child that they more than they should.
Absolutely.
Right. And there's also an abandonment thing because you're leaving mom. So there's several little factors
going on in the first place.
Yeah. In all of this and all that I'm going through, your children are still key. They're still crucial.
Amen.
And even though you're feeling lost, you cannot let them get lost.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And I say this from experience. You cannot allow them to get lost.
That's it.
Part of it is an ongoing conversation. It's not something that you have one time, because mom, your mother, and I are splitting up. It doesn't mean that you take a less place in my life.
Come on.
You are important to me. There are some parents who really overdo this. I mean, they really overdo this in terms of trying to get the kids to side with them. And we should never do that.
That's right.
We should never do that.
Amen.
But in the unlikely and hopefully not in your life event that your parents are split up, or you do split up from the boy's mother, always remember that he's also, that child, son or daughter, is still going through something.
Yes.
And they need to know that they matter to you.
That's right.
More than the job more than making money.
Yes, come
more
on.
than Miss Susie or whoever else you have a thing with or for. You know, that's really critical, because I think that's the time when we lose a lot of our
Our young
kids.
people. Exactly. So we have to do what's right. Hey, sister.
Hello,
Is that
bless
prophetess? Hey,
you,
darling. Love
woman of
you. Thank
God.
you for coming in and joining us tonight.
Thank you,
Danielle says, yes, Pastor G, you speaking the truth, sir. Preach. Yes, yes, ma'am. We're going to try it.
Love
We're going
ya.
to try it. All right. So let me see, guys, those number 2s in the chat. We're talking about father's fault and son's souls.
Excuse me.
You have to know that in a child's mind, their will, and their emotions, that they are in a volatile place when they are especially younger. But listen, there's still that part of us. There's an inner child that grown-ups are still dealing with stuff that they had to deal with their when they were children, when they were dealing with mom, dealing with dad, when they were dealing with that person that helped to grow them up. And we also know that all families don't have a quote unquote a mother and a father.
Sure.
Someone may have died. It could be you were raised by your grandparents or a guardian or something like that. But whoever that significant person has been in your life when you were growing up, that person that helped to nurture you, that person that helped to grow you up, you have to know that there's going to be some issues that if you don't address them, that if you're not careful, that they'll come back to bite you later in the butt. All right.
Let me make one other quick point about this. Now, I've spent most of my time there talking about divorcing parents.
But
with men as a whole, African American, doesn't matter who we are sometimes have issues with our emotions. Okay, because we're told as a kid, suck it up.
Yep.
Don't cry. You're a man. Or you're a boy. Don't
It's
be
true.
doing all that crying. And so all of these crazy expectations. And so we become emotionally stifled.
Yeah. Ooh.
We don't know how to show our child.
Right.
Do I put my arm around him, or do I make him act funny?
Okay.
Do I hug him? Do I kiss my child? This is my child.
That's
you
right.
know? And I'm gonna call him Buddy and take him everywhere I go. Let him watch me play ball. You know, somewhere between all of those extremes is an answer that works for you and your child.
Yeah.
Number one, if you're out here having children, you need to have your own emotions in check.
Ooh, yes,
you need
Lord.
to know who you are. But sometimes, again, you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
It's true.
You can't back it up and say, look, he's a nasty teenager now. Shove him back in there. You can't do that.
And all the women
I don't know
say,
what's going on.
amen.
Okay. So my point is that we have to have our emotions
Yes.
under control before we can effectively communicate to that child that you matter to me.
That's right.
Okay.
Amen.
And so I have to have, that's the one area where I can't keep messing up.
Exactly.
You know?
And it's not only what you were saying, she said, yes, come on now, you're speaking the truth. It's not only men that are divorced from that mother, because there are some men that are at home every day and they are still absent fathers.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So your child needs to know, your son, sir, needs to know that you matter to them. Okay, here's number 2.
You matter to
number 2, y'all put those 2s there in the chat. We're talking father's faults and sons' souls. Every person, we found out even in counseling that there is something called a adverse childhood experience. Okay, and so many of us, we have had so many of them that we don't realize that they have shaped, those experiences have shaped our lives.
Absolutely.
We don't realize that there's an inner child in us that needs to be healed. I remember, I think it was Joyce Meyer. I don't know if she was the originator of the same, but it was something that I always loved to hear, is that if we would heal the child, we wouldn't have to fix the adult. Okay, if we heal the child, then we won't have to fix the adult.
Absolutely.
So let us make sure that we are putting in the work that we need to do in order for us to come to that place where we become well-adjusted adults. All right. Thank you. Hashtag you matters. Amen. Number 2, does my son know that I love him?
Beyond you matter, beyond my child mattering to me.
Okay.
What does that mean? How does that play out? My child needs to know that I love him.
Yes.
Does he know this?
Yes.
And if he doesn't know it, why doesn't he know? If he does know it, how did he find out?
Right.
Okay.
And we need to learn how to put a voice to our thoughts.
Use words.
Yes.
One of the title of the topics, and shameless plug, in my book is called Words.
Yes.
It's simply, and there was originally use words,
yes.
but alphabetically that didn't fit the
So
it's just W dash spelled out words.
Words, okay.
We have to use, and there's another chapter entitled Express It.
Yes.
And there's another one that deals with communication.
Yes.
Because the idea is that you have to understand that part of being a trophy husband or trophy dad, whoever you're trying to be, you have to be able to effectively communicate.
Yes. If you cannot articulate to your child, your son, that you love him, then it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to articulate that to his child. And so what ends up happening? We've got this generational proclivity. They know I love you. You see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
For a lot of men, a lot of fathers, they believe that as long as they are going to the workplace, coming home, bringing money, paying for electric and water and for food and the mortgage, they believe that that is what shows love. That is what you see as love. You feel like, I do this because I love them. But listen, not everybody is that person that can look at all of these things, because, you know, for the most part, children, y'all, let me tell y'all something. Children, even grown, you know, almost grown teenage children, they think, well, you're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't ask to come here.
We got lights.
They
never associate, oh my God, we got electric lights. There's food in the refrigerator. We have a roof over our head.
No,
who pays the mortgage?
No.
Oh, my dad loves me. My mom loves me because no.
They think you're supposed to do that. That's your job, that's your responsibility. I did not ask to come here, and so therefore I am going to do whatever I need to do, because, you know, but you got to tell me that you love me. There's got to be a time, there's got to be a space where we're speaking with our words, that we are articulating that, yes, indeed, I love you.
Critical.
Okay.
Critical.
Period. So that's number 2. Let me see those number 3s there in the chat. Number 3, she said hashtag you matters with an S. I love it. You is mine and mine, and I'm yours. Okay. Let me see those number 3s there in the chat, you all. Does my son know that he matters to me? Number 2, does my son know that I love him? How does he know? How would he know? You've got to start speaking up. We know that men only speak about 7,000 to 9,000 words per day, right? Let a few of those words be there for your son. Okay. I found that there's some dads that they are just trifling. I mean, just because you divorce a mother, you divorce a wife, does not mean that you divorce your child.
Come on.
Okay. Your son still needs you. They're not only needing you for quote unquote money and child support, because some guys think that, well, I'm giving child support. That's not all the support that a young person needs. A young person needs your emotional support, your physical support. They need to know that you matter, that they matter to you, and they also need to know that you love them. Number 3.
And look, we understand that you're out there getting it. You're on the job so many hours a day, and you have to commute back and forth to work, and you got this obligation and that obligation, but that does not excuse your being able to communicate with your child. It's critical. Part of it is modeling if you want them to grow up to be responsible, if you want them to be better than you,
Yeah.
then you need to start being better than you. Oh,
Ooh.
if you want them to be better than you,
Ooh.
then
You're
you
gonna
need
have
to
to-
start being better than you. Right?
Wow.
If that doesn't elevate you,
Wow.
you know, and
Yes.
that elevated me.
Oh my God, that was good, but give me
Yeah.
some dabs on that. What? Yes.
You are gonna have to be better.
And how do
than
you do that? You do that by fixing the things that were broken in you as a child. Okay, absolutely. So here is number 3. Does my son know that what he does is important to me?
Mm,
Does my son know that what he does is important to me?
wow.
So when you are a architect or,
Mhm.
you know, I just like to draw, I just draw and draw and draw. Does my son believe that that is also what he is doing that's important to him, that it's also important to me?
Mhm.
That I'm going through this or this is happening in my life and I need to know that my father knows that it's important to me and thereby it becomes important to him.
So the question becomes, is your child a priority to you?
Okay.
We got the obligation part down,
Yeah.
Pat.
Come on.
But is your child a priority?
To you.
Are you willing to take whatever else out from that you're doing
Yes.
to take 15 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever to watch
Exactly.
him in the game?
That part.
To watch him. Now we'll do the game, but it's the other stuff
Right.
that we need to be
Yes.
involved. We were talking here locally about parents taking some time to go over to the school
Absolutely.
and actually sit in the classroom
Yes.
to offer to do reading. Do you need me to
Yes.
do some reading? Teacher, whatever you need me to do,
Absolutely.
I'm available here for an hour or two
To
or
do
whatever
that.
is necessary to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you all ever been in a classroom situation where someone's parent comes into the classroom? If that parent is a professional, anything, could be a janitor coming in his uniform, a police officer, he could be someone that works in a specific office, a life insurance. It doesn't even matter what it is, but that child, they see their parent and they're just like,
wow.
my dad is in here. Y'all, let me tell you something. It does something for the self-esteem of a child to know that they are important enough to you that you will come and do and be in something that's important to them.
Yeah.
Their education, you've got to be a part of that. You've got to be that one that says, I'm going to the PTA meetings. It's not just for mamas to do. If your son is having some issues, Father, then you need to be the one to bring the base. Okay,
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? Your voice.
Oh, that's my dad. Oh my God, I need to get myself together right now. He's coming down the hall. I know that's my daddy because my voice like he. I bet Gerald Levert knew when his daddy was down the hall.
You so get up with you.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
Just.
Oh my God. Sometimes as a woman, get law of attraction. Sometimes as a woman, you can say something to that child over and over and over. But when daddy comes in and daddy speaks and he puts that bass in his voice, it's like automatic. And especially there was this prank that they were doing. Was it TikTok I think it was on TikTok. They were doing this prank, right? Some of you may have seen it. Hey, Kimmy doll, thank you so much for joining, honey. They were doing this prank where a child, a son or a daughter, right? The mom would say, call the child by their name and say, go on in there and clean your room or whatever it was that they were saying. What? And the child said, what? Why don't you leave me alone? Shut up. And they would pan over to the father. Okay. And it was the funniest thing because some of them daddies, one daddy said, he looked up, he was like reading the paper or something. Uh-oh, I think I just messed it up. Did I? Where are we at?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
We
still got to get back on our StreamYard. Oh, my goodness. Let me get back in here. Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
After these messages.
We'll be right back. Hey, y'all, we are so sorry. We just clicked out all of a sudden by mistake. Y'all tell us if you can hear us.
Back in the room.
Y'all tell us if you can hear us, if you can see us. All right. So why are we so echoey now? Is that right? Okay.
Listen, are you all hearing us with an echo? Let us know.
Tell me if you can hear. Oh Lord, that sounds just like me. I would just show up to the school every chance I get and sit in the classroom. Amen. That's right. It happens with the grandchildren. And Kim says, I remember this boy father beat him in front of the class. He performed every day his mom dropped him off.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. Them dads were ready to beat them kids down, especially them black fathers. Okay. Thank you so much for letting us know. And so here, the father was sitting on the couch for one of them. He was reading the paper and he heard this and his head went. He looked at the child, he looked at the mama, he looked at the child, looked at the mama, and it was like, did I hear what I just thought I heard? Because certainly my hearing is deceiving me. Oh, it's feedback now. Is it better? Let us know if it's better. So here's some of the kids, they had to have their mom save them. Because as soon as daddy heard them say shut up or whatever, hey Kendra, soon as they heard mama, as soon as they heard that child say shut up or be or leave me alone or whatever, they shot up and they were ready to go and to get them.
Thank you, daughter.
Some of those mamas had to say it's a prank because daddy was about to kill that child.
Please don't kill him. Please don't kill him. James,
they was gonna kill that child. I promise you they was gonna kill him. And so you have to know that when you're dealing with your child, some of them mom jump in front of them to save their lives.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Because that was like a no, you don't do that.
Florida Evans.
Okay.
Jumping in front of James.
Okay. So here's the thing. You have to, as a father, show respect for the mother, and you don't allow that child. You got to bring the base sometime, period. All right? And Danielle is cracking up over here. So here's the next thing. I want you to know that when we're saying, does your son know what he does is important to you? Are you going to be willing that if he says, Dad, I need to talk, okay? Are you going to be willing to sit down and hear this young person, this child, this son out, okay? Because they need to know that you are important.
Because too few of them ask.
Yeah.
Because they know the answer. And very often we're so busy, we're so focused on what we're doing that we have to be checking it. Dad, we need to check in.
Yes.
We want them to have a certain amount of privacy, but you need to make unannounced visits into the room.
Yes.
You don't know who's in there.
See what they're doing.
See what the smoke is all about. Don't wait too late.
Yes.
Because sometimes we can wait too late to really make a difference in their lives.
Yes.
Friends, gang memberships, these are a lot of the things, the very things that cause a young person to find acceptance, in a gang membership.
It's true. Okay.
Because we have to be available. We have to show them that they matter, that we love them, and they are important.
Amen.
If you night or day, it doesn't matter what happens.
That's right.
And I don't know what happens. Because when they're first in the house, we won't even go to sleep until we go in and check on them a third time. I mean, go and make sure they breathe. Yeah. Make sure if they're wet, we're gonna, we do that stuff for a while.
Yes.
And then somewhere along the way, we think that
they're grown now.
They're independent.
They can do this.
A boy.
Right.
So I gotta let him toughen up.
Right. No, ma'am, sir. That's not how any of this is supposed to work. When God put a man in the garden, he said to tend to it and nurture it. All right. Sometimes we see men nurturing a child and we act as though something is wrong with that. But let me tell you something. That is the furthest thing from the truth.
She didn't say nursing.
Well, some of them do that
too. She said, she said nurturing.
But listen, I seen they got these apparatuses now. I know my husband would not be using one of these, but they have apparatuses now that you can hold the child as a man with that child, where a mom would hold it, and there's a bottle. It's a similar to a bottle, but it's in the form of like a breast, and it can, so
I can hold my child just fine. Sorry, y'all. Come on back in here. Excuse me,
Okay, but it's true though, and some of them feel like it's better because they ain't got to hold a bottle. Okay,
Wow.
so anywho, she said, "Oh Lord, y'all, this dude, you see this man? I am a man. Yes, he is a whole man. There is no female in him at all whatsoever. It's like, we're not going to do this, right? Those deep and delicious saints of God not gonna show up now. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. So I wanted to tell y'all this quickly. Does my son know what he does is important to me? Give me those 4s in the chat and let me tell you this little short story. There was a young boy that his father did a lot of work, and so he asked his dad what kind of work did he did, and he then asked him, well, how much do they pay you? How much do you make an hour is what he asked his father, right? And so his father told him, I make X amount of dollars per hour. And so the son then goes off and he is getting his allowance. He's borrowing money from his siblings and all of that. And what is he going to do with it? He brings the $12 and hands it to his father. And so his father looks at the $12 and he's like, well, son, what is this? What is this for? Why are you giving me this money? And the son said, well, you get paid $12 an hour to work, and I just needed an hour of your time. And I felt like if I paid you for that hour, then I could have that hour. All right. Wow. Never allow yourself to become so busy that your child does not know, realize, and understand that they are important to you, and what they've got going on, if it's important to them, that it's also important to you. Thank you for those number 4s there in the chat. Number 4 is this: does my son know how proud I am of him? Does my son know how proud I am of him? And it doesn't have to be a whole lot. You can tie your shoes. Look at you, right? It's something about becoming validated by people that you love, especially that one that looks like you. I know mama loves me, but mama don't look like me. Mama isn't built the same way that I am. And so when that son gets that validation from mama and from dad, then it does something to build their self-worth, their self-esteem. It builds them to the place that no one else can come in and say dumb stuff and it affect them to their core. Why? Because they know that they have the admiration that their parent, that their father is proud of them. And so now they don't have to go looking for that. Do you realize that there are some children, young boys especially, that they're doing everything that they possibly can to get validation from their dads? They're doing things. They're running after paper, trying to get their dad to acknowledge them. They are out here having kids and bringing things to the house so that their dad can validate them. And they can never get the validation. And so they consistently on this treadmill, trying to do this, trying to do that. That's why some of them don't know what they want to study in college, because they don't know what's going to get dad's attention. Some people are in jobs and positions. They've been to school for things that they didn't want to be, just so that their fathers could be proud of them. Listen, whatever your child wants to do, if you would be that person that would guide them, but yet support them, honey, I promise you, they will do so well in the earth. And you won't have, well, let me not say that. Let me not say that you won't have the stuff like, Mr. Franklin has with his son, because again, we talked about Absalom and David. and there still be some issues. But if you would do your part, okay, at the end of the day, the reason that we do spiritual and relationship counseling is so at the end of the day, if indeed that marriage doesn't work out, if indeed that relationship does not stand the test of time, that you can then say, I can look back and I don't have any regrets. I did the work, I did the home, I did the lessons, I used all the tools, and it still didn't work. And so I put in all that I could. This is what they're doing when they tell you as a woman, if you are bleeding during pregnancy, they tell you to go home and lie down. They put you on bed rest. Why? So that at the end of the day, if indeed that child is still miscarried, if that child is hindered from that womb, that you know that you didn't do anything. You didn't exert yourself. You weren't doing anything too strenuous for you to believe that it is your fault, the reason why you miscarried that child. All right. And so let's not miscarry. Dads, I know you never had a physical miscarriage, but dads, fathers, make sure, where is Dr. Keith? Make sure that you are not miscarrying with your son.
Wow.
All right. Do all that you can. The baby might still not make it. Okay. But as long as you have done all that was in your power to do, I need you to know that God is be pleased with you.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well said, darling.
So we'll be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow's Thursday. And we want to talk to you guys about some other fathers and sons.
Right.
Ooh,
so now this is, so that you don't feel funny, this is Fathers and Sons Week.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And we'll continue this. We've got to get daughters.
Amen.
Y'all are too special for us not to deal with.
Let's see. Kim Hargrove says, that's why I always said I would buy my daughter diamonds so she would not be fooled by a cubic zirconia.
Come on.
You better preach. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. He's so silly. Thank you, Danielle. She says, amen. Listen, if you all have any questions for us tonight, please go on and throw them there in the chat. There's a little delay, especially over on Facebook, but we want you to know that if you have a question, if you can't get it in the chat before we're out, that you can definitely inbox and ask a question. We don't have any problem with that as well. All right. I'm Pastor Michelle. This is Pastor G. We are here Tuesday through Thursday between 9:30, 10-ish Central Standard Time, and we're here to give you tools that's going to help you to get your relationships on and popping. Before I do, after I do, and everywhere in between. Want you to know that there's some things that's available to you. You can go over to bit.ly/MM3LINKS, and there you will be able to find some of the amazing free downloads that we have for you, whether you're dating, you're divorced, you're getting ready to be married. You're getting ready to be married. You might want those free 10 things that happy couples do every day, the 10-step guide and the bonus video instruction. You're married already. You may need to go on and get the state of the marriage address. That's something over there that will help you. MM3 worked and is working for me. Come through here now. All right. You may want to go and get, let's see, Manifest My Mate, bit.ly/pray mate. What that is going to do is help you to pray, show you what you need to be saying on a regular, consistent basis so that you will manifest that person, that husband, that wife that is just there for you. Want you to get that. Dateology is something else that you can get as a free download. And listen, there's some books. Pastor G has just finished writing his book. It is called 26 Ways to Become a Trophy Husband. Yes, 26 ways to become a trophy husband. Did I give you? We didn't do a Bitly for that yet.
No. No.
But you know what? You can go to the link in the bio, bit.ly/MM3LINKS, and you should be able to find it right there.
It is an ebook. And go get it. And I think it would be extremely helpful to some of the people in your life. 26 ways to become
a trophy husband.
Yes.
Yes.
It's going to be very helpful.
He did that thing.
And our latest book together is entitled Overcoming
Infidelity. Yes.
My honey took the lead in writing it, and there is a whole lot of great information.
Yes.
If you've ever gone through infidelity, you all know that those words, infidelity,
like constipation.
Yeah, that's right. A lot worse than indigestion.
Yeah.
Right? It's a horrible thing for anybody to have to go through.
Yes.
And there's a lot of pain and heartache
that goes along with it. But you can get through it. You
can overcome.
Yes.
Your relationship can survive it.
It can.
Right? And so what this is, it's a tool to help you assess where you are. Where am I with this? This is a horrible thing.
Right.
How many times has it taken place? Is it ongoing? It helps you to assess where you are in the relationship.
And what you want to do.
A work ethic. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And here again, Sister Shirley start off by saying it takes two.
Baby.
And when it comes to your relationship, it takes two. He may want to fix it.
Right.
But if he doesn't have the work ethic to help you get through it, now she may be not the victim, but she may have been the perpetrator.
Right.
And she may be saying, you know, I want my marriage.
Yeah.
But not have the work ethic.
Amen.
Right.
That's true.
Or have not come out of the streets as of yet.
Mm.
And if those are the cases you want to, it's the constipation for me.
Yeah, Kimmy.
What, Kimmy, you got some time? we can help you now. We can help you.
Look at that with you.
So you know I was going, but so where was I?
Silly.
I'm sorry, y'all. Overcoming
infidelity.
Constipation. Overcoming infidelity, right?
So
it's going to help you
over infidelity.
That's right. Going to help you assess where you are and get to the place. There is a checklist associated with the book.
The checklist is free. You go and get it downloaded tonight.
Guys, you want to get this.
Yes.
Somebody you know is hurting and would benefit greatly from this.
Amen.
Our prices of our ebooks are low. They are, they're really
affordable,
good.
So that you are able to get it. There might be someone that you know that would benefit from getting a copy. So please, sir, go on and get that. Kim says it can't be a one-sided fight. In order to fight, someone else has to get in the ring. Come on, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have to make some decisions, and then once we make those decisions, then we come out and we can then go through the steps of overcoming.
Yes,
all right.
ma'am.
So listen, guys, we certainly appreciate y'all coming in and hanging out with us tonight. Again, I'm Pastor Michelle. This is my sweet husband, Pastor G. If there's someone that you know that would benefit from this broadcast, we ask that you would share it. It might be a group or somewhere that this would help them tremendously. There's a father or a son that is dealing with some issues. Make sure that they are here tomorrow night. Tell them to come with you so that we can also talk some more about these fathers' faults and sons' souls. Listen, we certainly appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with us. Again, I'm Pastor Michelle. This is Pastor G. We are spiritual relationship counselors, veterans of the United States Air Force.
And your go-to couple for all things relationship. Thank you for being with us.
What we always say here before we get on down is that
God loves you and we love you. And ain't a thing you can do about it.
Up in here. Boom. Bang. Pow!
The island pastor, so you can't say God.
You got to say God.
God.
I'm like, boy, if you don't get out of my face right now, sir, up in church.
How long you been doing it? Love you guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you on tomorrow night. Don't miss it, okay?
On tomorrow. We'll see you on tomorrow. On tomorrow. Yes. It's the God for me. It's the God for me. God for me. God for me. Love y'all.
Good night, everybody.
Bless you, Sister Tina. Lord bless
you. Hey, 23rd next week.
Oh, that's right.
We're going to be in Fort Smith Kingdom Living
Prophetic Conference.
Thank you, honey.
Yes.
Thank you. Kingdom. I'll
Kingdom
I got
Living.
it right here in front of me.
Prophetic
Okay,
Conference.
so I had the first part right.
Yes, the Kingdom
Prophetic.
Living Prophetic Conference. If you would like to go, there she is.
There's my honey
There she
right
is.
there.
Okay,
She's going to
there
be
she is.
ministering the word.
Boom! What? Yes, and so come on and be a part of that. If you are in the Arkansas area, Fort Smith specifically, or anywhere surrounding Fort Smith, you'd like to meet us.
At the
Yeah,
Ark.
or you can come and hang out. Maybe we can do lunch before it's
would
time
be
for
awesome.
yeah, okay. So come on, let us know first.
Yeah, we need
Okay.
to know you're coming. So
All right, because when we get to the fort, we're at home.
Yeah.
And we may have some stuff that we have to do. We don't just go up there to have fun. We got to work when we get there, right?
They're working conference.
Okay. All right.
Love you.